he's more level-headed, I guess you would say, about like, okay, I get that you have your little thing going on, but this is a crime. He doesn't care about the wrong or the right. He's like, it's a crime. We getting ready to commit a felony. Like, you taking this too far. But he loves his wife. He also, thank you for putting it on this scene. He's also indoctrinated. He's got the American flag on his hat. Dare I say, that flag might not actually be sewn onto the cap. It might be a patch, which indicates to me a lot of times people wear patches when they are gun owners. Not saying that he's a gun owner. I don't know. I'm just making connections. Let me know if I'm going too long. Um, Situational awareness is a key for all non-white people at this point in time. Also, having some type of knowledge of self when it comes to your body's abilities. I'm not saying that I'm out here like Mrs. Olympia or I'm ready to get in the octagon or the pentagon or whatever they call it in MMA, but I am saying I'm aware of how to shake and move in certain instances. And when them women saw that they were surrounded in that store and it was, they were being challenged, it's time to go. Like, it's just time to go. There's no wine in the world that good. It don't matter if you got a lot of money. I'll buy the most expensive one. That's you proving your victimhood, that your presence in the situation is completely transactional. Not only is it transactional, but you're expected and you expect yourself to pay the highest cost to sate white people. It's time to go. Go home. They didn't do that. And then, we are reactionary people a lot of times, non-white people. So when the young lady in the sweater, said what she said, I get that she may have been correct, but I'm also assuming this is probably not a town that's majority. They probably, it looked like middle America where it's still mostly white people. I don't see this is not an urban setting, where there's just as many non-white people as white people. And somebody referred to non-white people as urban kids, so this implies they're in the suburbs. You got to know when to fold them. And you also, again, I'm probably gonna stop talking. Once they were in the house, and this is so sad. I think about this often. I'm just a person, and I understand the condition of so-called humanity right now. Somebody breaking your house, you got to have little stashes somewhere. You got to be ready to defend yourself to the point of death, and that's hard to for some people to imagine. But people need to learn how to fight. I'm in for now.
Thank you, Miss Irie. The film, I think the film does a like reveals so much, and just the behavior patterns we've been seeing on this planet for a very long time, but we have failed to understand what we are seeing. I already mentioned that white women are given so much power because they are the majority teachers of children, and these children eventually become adults. So they have a lot of influence on the minds and the behaviors of people on this planet. And oftentimes than not, they use their position to maintain the system of white supremacy to further sabotage the minds of young people, white and non-white. Children suffer when indoctrinated into this system of white supremacy, and we see her. And the film begins with just all of the just racism, white supremacy 101, genetic annihilation, the fear of genetic annihilation. Oh no, we are already a global minority. We already struggle bringing ourselves to this planet. We are also a very deceptive bunch of people. We see her lying to the white child teaching him, hey, even though you are a child, you still have to go tell these non-white people, hey, don't don't clean until this time I tell you to clean. All right, lady, because you're disturbing me. That is the conversation she had. And we just see this teacher lie. Emily, she lies throughout the film. She's a master deceiver. Because if you're gonna practice racism, deception is one of your first tools that you learn how to lie. And non-white people do not understand this. When we are interacting with a racist suspect, anyone white, we are interacting with a master deceiver, master liar. I already mentioned the grocery scene. Yes, non-white people certainly. The only reason we should be watching films is to take lessons and learn from this film. There are plenty of lessons that we can learn from film. The first one being, for our safety, it is best to be suspicious of all persons classified as white. That's just the most logical thing we can do when we are on the planet where things presented in this film, while this film is fiction, things that are presented here certainly do happen almost every single day. Non-white people being targeted, attacked, and killed. That happens very, very often in 2026 on planet Earth. So non-white people should understand that racism is a war being waged against us, and this is how the war manifests. It manifests with white women bullying you in a liquor store, calling you animals and all sorts of slurs and then it just escalates. It starts tacky, and then it becomes very, very terroristic. I think this grocery scene, like Craig, and this is like a Blue Lives Matter patch on his head. We have to understand law enforcement is very integral into the maintenance of white supremacy. Every white law enforcement officer is simply a race soldier. Their main job is maintaining the system. So, of course, the average racist suspect is going to support the maintenance of the system. So, of course, we're going to see that kind of imagery in this sort of
I
film.
would add that
Go ahead.
you know, would want to hear from the writers what they imagine the felon went to jail for. Cause she's good and she's a sociopath to the max, and I wonder if she committed a so-called hate crime, if that's what they kind of the archetype for her character. You know, she did a hate crime. I just don't get the feeling that type of white woman went to jail for bouncing a check. If that makes sense. She's very vile and very violent. And I think that was probably the most remarkable part to me, the ease of not just the violence, but the female on female rape. Um, no regard, and the ability to switch so easily from, if you don't do this, da 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 da, or do this and F you and da da da, and you're gonna take the pictures for my dresses, right? Yeah, on the website. I'm like, whoa, this girl is out of sight.
Leslie was like, I interpret Leslie's character as she's some sort of like trailer trash white supremacist. that she probably went to prison for who knows what, probably something involving drugs, but she found refuge in more refined white supremacists like Kim, and Kim took her under her wing and has been using her, um, not in a malicious way, but they become great race mates. Um, I also think Leslie, she is the I think a lot of non-white people can look at Leslie and not before she speaks just what because when they're first at the meeting, I didn't know what this movie was about. I didn't know where this was going, and I'm still very much confused. So I didn't interpret. I just saw Leslie as a racist suspect.
Yeah.
I didn't guess that she was going to be the most vile racist of the bunch. And before I forget, rape. Rape is very much white culture. They've been using this form of violence to maintain dominance and control on planet Earth for centuries now, which is why they do it so easily to themselves, each other, and of course their victims, non-white people. Emily's brother is in jail for rape because it runs in the family. White supremacist pathology runs in the family. So while she's a school teacher, her brother is in jail for raping a non-white female. Is also something that was revealed to us. Also, fun. Racism, white supremacy is supposed to be fun for white people, for the white people who choose to practice it. For the racists, it's supposed to be fun. Them going out and terrorizing these people, going to their home, like burglarizing their home, breaking and entering my era, breaking and entering into these non-white people's dwelling. This was supposed to be fun. Like terrorizing these people is supposed to be fun. White people chasing down non-white people and lynching them and shooting them and throwing them in jail. This is fun for white people. And that's something this film also establishes and reveals, that hey, while the system is very evil, very horrific, and causes a lot of suffering, white people interpret that as, hey, this is fun for us to do. I noticed that the dog was black. Emily puts the dog in the closet. She seemingly has more sympathy for the dog because while she's leaving, she remembers, oh, I put the dog in the closet. Let me release it. But when the non-white victim is choking, she's having a very hard time to like act and respond. It's to help her. Very, very evident that in this system, yes, white people are definitely conditioned and are choose to have more affinity and care for animals than non-white people. Because in order to maintain such a system that just throws away and destroys so many people and causes immense suffering worldwide amongst non-white people, you kind of have to have a mentality that, yeah, my dog is more important than non-white people. So I thought that was very telling, very interesting.
Can I go?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Just to get some background for the director of this film, her motivation was the incident with the black male who was the bird watcher, where he was berated by a white woman, and that was her motivation of writing a script and doing this film. This film was also filmed in Inverness, California. This is a population less than 1,500, and it's 92, well, almost 92% white. Also, too, I found out that the director is also, I guess, in relation with a white male. He was also the music composer for this film, so that was noted. I guess going back to the meeting when she first meets Leslie. Leslie said that she came from I believe Jackson Hole, which is Wyoming, another racially restricted region. Well, really just state. They all meet at some sort of a church. Of course, we see the SWAT sticker and the cherry pie, aka cherry bomb. So nice pickup from Irie on that one with the whole them of being so called pure and somehow their cherries being popped. Oh, even how Emily starts the meeting, she says that multiculturalism is warfare. Like, also too, I think this is more of the director in her writing, to where the blame is still white men for their so-called problem. She gives hold up. Oh, she gives zero evidence on saying that blacks and Mexicans are the issue, and she doesn't give any reasoning behind that. The phrase "urban kids" gives a reference. Marjorie calls her coworker a brown bitch. Somehow she's a good person while also being poor. Black Lives Matter gets a reference. I think that's from the director, in my opinion. Also, too, I wonder if the director read the Turner Diaries, because, well, I'll just leave that as an actual question. Jessica, who was born into the KKK, to me told the truth. It says that it pretty much starts with them and how they teach the white children and how to practice racism. We also get Jew banks, Jew media, but I'm like, okay, but they look like white people. The people that so-called own it. What else during the meeting? Oh, Ephesians 5. That's a Bible quote. I'm not sure if 05 will want me to read it later, but I did jot that down. Emily says that it pretty much started in the 1960s, where it all went to so-called shit. I also too questioned if they were fans of Jill Shively. That's another famous white woman that was against feminism and so-called white woman being so-called free and sexually free during that time period. So I wonder if that was also a motivation through her script writing and stuff like that for the director. Also too, I wish the director showed the drawings from this so-called children's book that Emily was creating. All we get is a reference of a dog drawing, and I guess up for viewers questioning or assuming that there's some racist drawings also within the children's book. Oh, she says that Emily says that basically they're the secret weapon. The white woman is the secret weapon. What else is on here? Okay, all of this is from the um when they get to the actual store. So unless you want me to continue, then I'll just keep going. I'll mute.
Yeah, I just want to pause really briefly because you brought up a lot of
Sure.
constructive points. Jessica, I think Jessica is like the epitome of what they want their white woman to be. Like, you got to be able to have babies, and she's on her fifth one. Yes, she is a white supremacist, but she's very refined. You know, even though she's from the South, she still is very refined, very articulate. You know, yeah, and she so she appears very, 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 very pleasant. Actually, so I thought her character was very interesting. Um, for sure. I think for this film to be, I think I think the writers behind this film are definitely immersed in white supremacist pop culture, where there's like the Turner Diaries are just being mesmerized with like the likes of Dylan Roof and the Columbine Boys. Yeah, I think that's like, and why was this film created? Is it to teach non-white people, hey, this is how we are, what are you gonna do about it? Or is it just like bragging? Is it bragging? Possibly. But I'll pause there. Please continue on, Mr. Monsoon.
All right, so let's get to the whole pretty much why this was a film, so to speak. When they get to the store, what are what are some of the notes? Okay, all right, so boom, they get to the store. Emily goes to, I guess, buy some things, including wine. So, it's always the alcohol with just white people in general. Her husband Craig, but prior to Craig getting there, we have the two non-white women walking the actual door, and I wish they fleet. When I first saw it yesterday. So much so after after the big sister buys the expensive wine. I believe it was Kim who said that they sassed them. It's a lot of what I guess in popular culture would
It
say
was Leslie.
microaggressions.
Yeah.
Leslie, okay,
Yeah,
Leslie,
Leslie.
yeah. So it was, based on popular culture, they would say that those were microaggressions. That they were threatening. And then once they have the idea of going to their house, I believe it was Kim who said, "Oh, it'll be just like high school. um, so as this is going on, Craig tries to get Emily to let this go, by being logical, but basically somehow he is a fairy. He's a pussy bitch. Be a big man. He's a softie. And then later he's he is whiny once they are so-called caught. And then Emily says that she loves him, uh, but again, she's like pissed off at him and stuff like that. Um, so, yeah, like I said, this is when Leslie becomes out of control. So they get to the house. You want to get to that part? All right. So Craig gives them 4 to 5 minutes. Even though he said, based on them walking to the house, how are they going to get back to the actual car? So again, he's still giving her a out, but Emily goes along with the gang, and once the gang is created, white people get so-called emboldened and think that they can do about anything to an annoying person, even if they so-called sass them. So they get, boom, they get into the house. Leslie breaks a glass, so already messing up. Later, they find the non-white woman's passport, and somehow they want to burn it. Uh, then the white husband, Craig, comes back into the house and tells them that we gotta go, but by them being loud and hold on, what did I write? Yeah, I said they demonstrated a lot of what they said in the meeting during that whole invasion, to where they were being loud, obnoxious. Even when he was trying to get their attention, they were still being obnoxious and loud. Uh, I also said that this film still depicts them as, like, being uh, these quote unquote races that I guess the director thought was right wing, as being dumb, reactionary, and impulsive. Da, 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 da. So the non-white woman gets to the house. One sees something off because she doesn't hear her dog, but then she tries to run away. Somehow Craig becomes a part of the group, and then he grabs her, and all hell breaks loose, to where he pretty much tries to say that this is a practical joke, but the women of the group are serious. They're like, okay, shut up or I'll kill you. And that was from, I believe that was from Kim, who had the gun. Boy. They thought, oh well, okay. They up and torture them as he goes out and finds the little sister, grabs her. They get taped up, but not knowing, one of them is allergic to peanuts, so she starts convulsing, and then once the bigger sister tells them that there's an EpiPen, they go and get the EpiPen, but they could have still used it, but white people are having fun. Fun is what? Killing other non-white people. So in Leslie's eyes, her life didn't matter. And then they said that they thought rape would eliminate their I guess their selves of being there. Again, yeah, I think I'll stop right there. It's just this film becomes a bit um disturbing once the kidnapping happens. So I'll just mute there.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, the code says you should try to like solve your problems without creating new problems, and only only in the minds of and only in the minds of racist pathology can you conceive, hey, this problem can be solved by staging a rape. And we just had a rips where white man staged a rape. So this is something this is very commonplace in reality. Disgustingly so, because the system is very vile and we all are subjected to this vileness. And white people like to brag about this system and reveal themselves. So they make films like this that we should only be watching and learn from, because this is not this film is certainly for white people. I really want to be a fly on the wall to white people watching this movie, because I wonder what the reactions are. I'm sure they are getting a lot of like laughs from stuff we're probably missing. But yeah, Emily. No, this is Leslie, my era. Leslie is just, yes, she's a very vile white supremacist. She is the one who comes up with the idea to penetrate the non-white person on the screen with a carrot to stage a rape. And she's also the one who had no problem killing her. She killed both of them. She killed both of them. Well, she thought she did. Luckily, the racists behind this film thought, hey, let's at least have one of the non-white victims survive, because I don't remember her name, but the non-white female on the screen, she does survive being raped and smothered and almost drowned. She survives. So the viewer can walk away with knowing, hey, at least she's going to be able to tell her side of the story, and hopefully she is believed, because her sister, they're gonna like. So also, the film, they're all during their race meeting, they all are discussing how like non-white people are so like annoying and lame and loud and incompetent, yet during their breaking and entering into the non-white female's home, they are shown to be very incompetent and like just really like ghetto, tacky, trashy, really. But I did notice that, hey, even with all the chaos going around, they were still able to do what white people do: come together and try to solve their problem. Try to solve their problem in whatever insane way that they came up with, which was, hey, we already killed one non-white person, I guess we got to kill the other one. That's the best way to solve the problem. All of this could have been avoided if white people just established a system of justice, just guaranteeing no one is allowed to be mistreated, and a person who needs help the most receives constructive help. all of the world's problems could have been avoided if white people would have helped non-white people to establish a system of justice. But because they have failed to do so, we are subjected to quote unquote entertainment like this. Yeah, soft and quiet. White women. It was said that white women are a secret weapon. They are, because they just walk around so freely meaning without suspicion. They are given so much trust, and that shouldn't be the case. They should be given as much suspicion as all white people who are able to practice racism.
Can I say something?
Please do.
Oh yeah, I was wondering who decided to put that Rosewood reference in the movie. They have a piano? I can't afford a piano. I was like, yes, indeed. I figured something like that would happen.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I think so about
go
that
ahead.
too. Sorry, my fault. Go ahead. Sorry. I'm
Yeah, that the house size. Oh, it's big. It's nice. Like, you know, which is also when you mention the passport being stolen and they want to burn it, it's kind of ironic because don't you want them to have the passport? You want them to leave. You said you wanted an ethno state. They can't get on the plane without the daggone passport. I'm like these, like you said and he said, they ain't as diabolical as they are. They're not that smart, and I've said that for a while. They're not smart. They're cunning, at minimum. And at maximum, they are terroristic, which includes the different types of pathologies that go within that. Um, it was something else I was thinking of, but yeah, the fact that this is entertainment and the fact that people were clutching, oh my God, I don't know, I'm going to get through this. Maybe I've been, my emotions have been toyed with and hurt and degraded so much that I wasn't shook by it. And I did want to add this, and then I'm gonna end for good. I wondered if that was a ploy. Well, or it was a ploy, the advertisement, the most terrifying movie ever. I could barely finish and all this other stuff, considering it's not Saw, it's not Jason, it's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that terrifying. I mean, it's kind of hard to watch a little bit, especially with the sexual assault. But ultimately, this is not the movie where, somebody has to choose between a steel trap, splitting a body part in pieces or something, and I don't know, killing a friend or demon possession. This is it. I get it. It's scary because a lot of the people that probably watched this movie know that they was being told on. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of black people and a lot of non-white people that decide not to see race know that they got friends that they've had to question, like, what was that about? Was that racism I just experienced? No, couldn't be. And y'all let them in y'all house. They don't have to break in the house. Y'all let them in, and they're quite capable of doing this. Thank you so much.
all right. So I can be heard, right? You good?
Yeah, I'm
Loud and
done.
clear.
Done.
Okay. All right. Because again, I didn't mean to say anything. It's just that when Ari brought up them speaking about the piano stuff, I had pretty much wrote down that they got pissed off for her for basically them living in a duplex. So yeah, that's why I blurted out, said something. Now going back to the director, I guess I wasn't clear. The white sorry the director, she is non-white. I believe she's like she has two non-white parents. But she happens to be in a tragic arrangement with one of the music composers that was featured in this film. So I just wanted to clear that up. I guess last thing I'll say, just speaking on the actual term soft and white, I asked the AI if both terms can be considered as white, and then so based on soft, it says yes, white is frequently described as soft, particularly when referring to off whites, warm whites, and specific textures. I guess the other thing that I thought that invoked the film. Da, 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 da. Oh, um, psychologically and design. It says in interior design and color psychology, soft whites are used to promote calmness, relaxation, and sense of mental space. I guess, and then going to the quiet term, it says, in fact, quiet white, which is in quotes, is a common phrase in design and art. It means the color does not shout for your attention. It says that in the pretty much it says here is why white feels quiet, and then they give three notes. Now, one of them I thought described the actual film. It says background role. White usually sits in the background. It lets other things stand out without making a fuss. But I mean somehow they made a lot of fuss later in this actual film. So but yeah, that's all. I'll mute there.
Thanks for the clarity. I did not know the director is a non-white person. Interesting. Good work producing a film that is very revealing. It would have been nice if the director, I mean, yeah, the writer had like knowledge of the concept of true peace, true justice, true love, which is guaranteeing no one is mistreated and a person who needs help the most receives constructive help. And if they were able to apply that message to this film, that would have been way more constructive than whatever the hell this was. So constructive that we get to see white people being authentic white behavior, but like as for the lessons we should be learning, and thank you, Miss Irie, very significant. Yeah, and it's so abhorrent. I interact with so many non-white people who love protecting and defending white people like it's their job, and it's really pitiful. But I understand what's been done to our minds. We've been made into we are servant. We are white servants, and when we have that in our brain computers, our default is to defend the group of people who is to blame for all of the world's misery. This film, I didn't comment on it because I keep forgetting, but Emily is writing a children's book. I'm sure the children's book is going to be something to like consciously or subconsciously further indoctrinate the children and to their roles. If you're white, this is how you should behave. If you're non-white, this is how you should behave. Is there anything? Yeah, the code teaches the concept of compensation. Marjorie can't play the piano. I mean, she couldn't buy a piano. Does that mean she couldn't learn how to play the piano? I don't think so. Excuses. White people are full of them, which is wild when they have the greatest welfare system ever established, white supremacy. So the world is truly theirs to do what they want with it. if they just use their brain computers and their energy correctly. But the system also makes them very, very lazy. And they didn't take over the planet by being smart. They took over the planet by being very barbaric and violent. As this film shows, these women aren't the brightest, at all. Brightest. Race Code War. Please check out that book or our book study on it. But these white women aren't the smartest. Because if they were, they wouldn't have been in this predicament in the first place. So, white people took over this planet not because they are smarter than non-white people, but because they have historically been able to practice the levels of violence unknown to non-white people. I'll just say that. And before we close out, any final notes? Something that came to any of the other panelists' minds before we head out of here?
No, not really. Uh, I'm not disturbed. I'm sad now. Uh, yeah. Good night,
Oh,
everybody.
oh, I'll say one thing. When I did watch a few reviews through TikTok and YouTube, I know one black person said that she would suggest this to white people to like basically watch it. I guess in like her mind it was to explain how they act, but I thought that was pretty incorrect. But mainly most of the reviews that I did watch, many of them had the opposite reaction of I guess what me and Ari had, to where it's just like it wasn't that like too crazy. It was like, okay, wow, all right. But yeah, I'll just briefly pretty much state that from the reviews, whether it was from non-white people or white people saying that this film was disturbing, or they basically cried, or they were just mad the the entire film. So I just briefly wanted to speak on that. That's all.
Oh, yeah. Oh, quick, real quick. Um, this movie reminds me of a time I went to some situation with a friend of mine at the time, non-white female, and the question came up again for the second time that particular year about how did this society get to a point where we have racism, white supremacy, and the white woman. She was very prismatic. So she was white, but the other propaganda in use to diffuse suspicion is the rainbow, unfortunately. Um, and it must include pink. We talked about that before with Barbie. So she basically said something equivalent to what I also heard before. I don't know how it happened this way. I have no idea. I'm just so sad about it. And so I asked her a question. I'm like, do you classify yourself as white? And did you grow up in America? And immediately, this woman clapped on me. She wanted to take it outside. She wanted to fight non-white female, and the situation went
Wait. When
parabolic.
the white woman became terroristic to you?
No, I'm sorry. Let me slow down, clarify. The white woman in rainbows was like, I don't know how it happened. I'm just so sad about it. Oh my God. And I asked her, or do you classify yourself as white? She said yes. And then I asked her if she grew up in the continental United States of America. She said yes. And after she answered those questions, yes, I didn't say anything else. A non-white female abruptly, loudly, because she was urban, She was like, that ain't right. I'm not gonna stand for that. You can't do that. Just because she white don't mean she racist. I ain't asked her if she was racist, by the way. I asked her if she classified herself as white and if she grew up in America. You can't do that. Da 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 da. It dove off. It went off the rails. It was gone. People were like shouting a little bit, mad. That's not right. You might be racist. Boop de boop. And so I just stuck around because I was like sitting there shocked, like, okay, that truly went haywire with just two questions. But then the woman, after everyone left and it was just me and my friend, she said, I just want to say, you're right. My grandfather, he was racist. He was so racist. He would tell racist jokes to us all the time and yada, 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 whatever else she said. I can't remember. It's been a while. But yeah, I did. I did hear racist jokes and I did hear, my family use the N word. So you're right. I do know how it happened. This is a thing, in families. And I asked, I was like, so why didn't you say all this when everybody else was here? Why didn't you do it? I wasn't gonna say nothing else after that. I didn't. I just wanted to hear what she had to say. She was like, well, it just got so crazy. That's that's soft and quiet, everybody. The end. I'm totally done now.
Thank you for sharing. Fascinating experience that is very, very commonplace. The code says when you're talking about white supremacy, you will make white people uncomfortable and embarrass non-white people. And that just goes to show you the hold the system has over the minds of non-white people. We have been so programmed to protect the people who are responsible for our sabotage. The people who are responsible for maintaining, establishing this system of terror. We are programmed to defend them, and it's very annoying dynamic. But this is a reality we are faced to deal with. Our purpose is to counter this. And yeah, I think it's very significant that it just shows the power of questions. You need to make any accusations, you need to make any statements, you just ask two questions, and as you said, it went haywire. So folks, please, if you want to exist on a planet that is just a planet where love and peace can actually thrive in a meaningful way and not the tacky lies we've been told our entire existence, because love is not feeling good, two people feeling good together. Peace is not being comfortable in your dwelling. Peace, justice, and love, they all mean the same thing. It's guaranteeing no one is allowed to be mistreated, and the person who needs help the most receive constructive help. Let's get serious about producing this so we can exist on a planet where the rape, murder, deception is a distant memory. Please share the code book, share counter racist information so we can work on producing justice. Thank you, Miss Ari. Thank you, Mr. Monsoon. Thank you for the folks who tuned in on the broadcast. CRWS signing out.